Hi, everyone. Welcome so much to our next topic in our series on fat burning versus fat storage and metabolic health. And we've been talking about intermittent fasting. So today is the last one of our series on intermittent fasting. And today is about intermittent fasting and aging well. And remember, this comes from the Complete Guide to Fasting with Dr. Jason Fung, who is the guru and the expert in this field and has an entire clinic in Toronto dedicated to helping people on a health journey with intermittent fasting. He started this journey because he is a nephrologist, which is a kidney doctor, and he realized that the end stage renal disease or kidney disease was coming from type 2 diabetes, and he didn't want to keep treating the end stage disease. He wanted to prevent it from happening and to try to find a cure for type 2 diabetes, which brought him down this lane. So great book, and I'll share the book at the end of the presentation as I have before. For those who don't know me, my name is Linnea Baker, and I am a board-certified family nurse practitioner. I'm so grateful for each of you for plugging in and listening to these presentations, and hopefully it brings you value because it truly is my passion. So first, Dr. Jason Fung says, fasting can benefit your brain and help your body stay young. Guys, I can't stress this enough. I've done the research so that you don't have to, but if you do the research, you'll find what I have found, that truly, when you go on a health journey, and I've been on a holistic, healthy, sustainable lifestyle for about 3 years now. Actually, this month makes it 3 years for me, and it is life-changing, okay? So not only improving gut health, but improving everything overall, holistic. And intermittent fasting is a powerful piece to the puzzle. And I have lots of tools I can share with my clients to help them on a health journey. And it's powerful. If you look at these pictures, the one picture, that's when I'm 42 years old and I'm not taking care of myself. I think I'm healthy. I think I'm doing well. And I'm a nurse practitioner with 25 years. I had over 20 years of experience then. You would think that I knew how to take care of myself, but truly I wasn't getting it because they don't teach us these things in medical school, okay? They don't teach us these things in our medical programs. But if you look at the other picture, that's 48 years old. Truly, I'm taking years off my life. You can see the healthy skin, the healthy hair, the glow. I'm losing weight. I have more energy, all the things, guys. And it truly is a health journey. And it's powerful. And I'm so glad that I took the initiative and went on the journey and didn't put it off another day, another week, when my friend came to me and talked to me about some things that I could do to get on a holistic health journey. And the only thing I wish I did is I had found it sooner. But that's why I'm in the education lane. And that's why I'm here to empower you not to wait. Don't wait another day. Don't wait another week. Don't put it off till another season. Baby steps, progress over perfection. There's so many different things we can do, and intermittent fasting is one piece of that puzzle. So when we talk about kind of aging well and brain health, there's a few things we need to talk about. We want to talk about insulin, your BMI, and memory. So when we talk about insulin, when we lower our insulin levels, we actually improve our memory. And we've done this series where I've talked about type 2 diabetes, and I've talked about insulin and how increased insulin levels equals increased fat storage. And I encourage you, if you have not been following along in this series, for time's sake, go back and look at those recordings that we have posted in my health and wellness group on Facebook and also on my YouTube channel. Because those videos will fill in the blanks if you've kind of missed some of this. But lowering those insulin levels will improve your memory. Now, when we talk about BMI, we're talking about body mass index. So the higher the body mass index, the lower your mental capacity. So the more weight you're gaining, the more your body mass index or BMI goes up, the lower the mental capacity. Now, I've told you guys, anyone who's worked with me in clinic or been with me in my clinic with my patients, they know I don't focus on body mass index because I don't feel like it's an accurate measurement, but it gives us a little bit of an idea. And that's because we all have different bone structures. And I can look at a kiddo when I was in the pediatric clinic, and I can look at a kid and they look healthy and strong and solid and athletic, and yet their quote unquote BMI is high. So I use this as one measure, but it's not the be all end all. However, when we're talking about having really high BMIs, body mass index, because we're overweight or obese, and I told you that the majority of adults in this country are overweight or obese. I think it's around 60-70% were the last statistics I saw. And then 1 in 5 children are overweight or obese. So this is truly an epidemic in our country, which leads to all these chronic diseases that we've talked about in the past, like heart disease and type 2 diabetes. Even the word diabesity we talked about. So when we talk about an elevated body mass index and a lower mental capacity, well, you guys are probably like me. Well, why does that happen? What does that have to do with each other? Well, when we're overweight or obese, meaning our BMI is significantly high, we have decreased blood flow to certain areas of the brain, okay? And those areas of the brain are the ones involved in attention, focus, reasoning, and complex abstract thought. So that also fits lower insulin levels equals better memory, because we said the higher the insulin, when it stays up, we're storing fat. We store fat, we increase our body mass index. Do you see how this all relates? It's one big circle, cause and effect. Well, when we fast, and we've been talking about fasting in this series, there's neurological benefits or brain health benefits. So what happens when we fast? We decrease our insulin, because insulin goes up when we're eating something, right? Or drinking something that has calories or sweeteners in it. So if we are if we're fasting, we're not eating, we're decreasing our insulin. And what does that do? It helps us with consistent and sustainable weight loss. And we talked about the statistics on that before, okay? So when we talk about slowing aging, this was in the Complete Guide to Intermittent Fasting by Dr. Fung. It's on page 151. We talk about cell aging. So there are actually cells will age, our individual cells in our body. And as they age, we either need to replace certain parts of them, or we actually need to replace the whole cell. So when you think of this, don't get all worried about the biological science, trying to remember back to middle school and high school biology that some of you couldn't stand. That was my passion. That's not everybody's passion. That's why I'm here to break it down for you guys. So I want you to just think of it like a car. We age, cars age. You buy a brand new car, it works great. As it ages, it needs new brakes or it needs a new battery, new tires. My husband was just telling me his car needs new tires, right? So we replace certain parts of the car as it goes along. Well, our individual cells have parts in them, and as we age, those parts need to be replaced because they're getting old and not working as well. Okay. And so as they get older, we fix them like we would fix a car. And eventually they need to be destroyed and replaced. So eventually the car is so old, it can't be fixed anymore. It gets hauled off to the junkyard, destroyed, and we get a brand new car, right? Or we replace it with a newer version. Well, same thing with our cells. As they get old, and we've fixed it and fixed it and fixed it as long as we can, eventually they need to get destroyed and replaced with new healthy cells. So then we talk about apoptosis, and apoptosis is just a fancy word for programmed cell death. And what that means is when your cells age to a certain age, your cells are actually biologically programmed to eliminate themselves, or I mean, I don't like this word, but basically what he says in the book is commit suicide. The cell gets rid of itself. It's programmed to do that. Okay. That's apoptosis. And that's actually a healthy part of our biology. And then there's autophagy. And autophagy is just cellular cleansing, okay? And cellular cleansing is when the cell is programmed to eat itself or eat oneself is what it really means. And all that means is it's doing that to break down the cell components that are diseased or broken down. So there's parts of the cell that are diseased or broken down. Autophagy kicks in because of the cell's biology and programming. Autophagy is eating oneself. It's going to break down the diseased or broken down cell components. And why does it do that? Because we want new tissue and new cell parts to be built. So this is how our body works to renew itself and heal itself. However, it's very important to know that this process will only work if we get rid of the old parts first. Okay, we have to make room. So if we don't get rid of the old parts, if apoptosis and autophagy are not working effectively and efficiently, then we can't get the new healthy cells and cell parts in. And that's an important key to this. So we just discussed apoptosis and autophagy and how they're necessary for our bodies to work and run well. And when that process, autophagy and apoptosis, are not working well, or they get quote unquote hijacked, Dr. Fung says, we can get diseases such as cancer. And we can also have other effects of aging. Okay. So it's truly that important that our autophagy and our apoptosis are working well so we can heal and renew those cell parts that are broken down or diseased, or maybe replace them with not even just parts, but a whole new cell. And we do that because it helps prevent disease such as cancer, and it helps with aging so that we age well. So what would turn off autophagy off, where the cell eats parts of itself that are diseased or broken down? What are some things that would turn it off? Glucose turns it off, insulin turns it off, proteins turns it off. So let's simplify that. When we're eating or snacking, we're suppressing autophagy. We're turning off autophagy when we eat or snack. So with intermittent fasting and eating, I want to kind of do a comparison. When we intermittent fast, we prioritize healthy cell parts. So during our fasting, we prioritize healthy cell parts because we have the energy is not going to our gut to digest food. Our hormone levels aren't like increasing insulin hormone and working and to do all of that. Instead, now we have the energy to focus on, okay, we're intermittent fasting. We don't have energy coming in. We need to focus on preserving our healthy cell parts. So we kick that into gear. We discard the oldest unhealthy cell parts, and we're cleansing and detoxing our body. And this is one of the oldest forms of detoxing our body and breaking down the old to create the new cells. It actually is one of the oldest methods of anti-aging. In the research, we are cleansing unhealthy and the unnecessary cell debris. Okay, so lots of benefits from intermittent fasting. Well, what happens when we're eating? So if you're eating small, frequent meals throughout the day, you're actually preventing the activation of autophagy. So a lot of people, and I used to be one of them, so I'm not judging, but I know better because I've learned and I've done the research. I used to think that our metabolism would slow down if we skipped a meal or we didn't eat small, frequent meals. That's actually wrong. And I admitted that I was wrong in the research now that I see the benefits, not only in myself and my clients, but just the research out there on top of seeing the testimonies that I've seen for myself, my family members, and other people I coach. Small, frequent meals actually prevent autophagy. When we incorporate intermittent fasting, it helps us age well because of what it works and does at the cellular level that I just explained. Okay. So, and it really comes down to insulin, body mass index, all those things. When we're eating, we're preventing the cells from cleansing. When we're eating, we know that cancer is a disease that can actually result from disordered autophagy. So when we're eating and we're not allowing autophagy, which is the cleansing and cleaning out and eating oneself, eating the cell parts that are diseased or broken down, if we're not allowing that process to happen, because nowadays in the modern world, in the United States culture, it's all about food. We have it readily available. We have fast food. We have access to all kinds of highly processed foods, and we're eating constantly. We said that we went from eating about 3 meals a day in the 70s to like 6 meals a day by 2000. So people are snacking all the time and they're eating all the time, and we are preventing autophagy. Well, now we have an increased rate of cancers. There are cancers that will be caused just from not allowing our body to clean out the debris and the and go through that autophagy process for our cell cleansing and cell health. Then we know that insulin goes up when we eat, and we said that insulin when is equal to fat storage and weight gain. We cannot burn fat as energy when our insulin is up. It's strictly insulin goes up. That means we're going to store fat. So Alzheimer's disease is a big one, and I'm seeing more and more of this. And people ask me, my friends ask me about this, and so brain health as I get older, it's not just about my physical movement and body health, but I want my brain to be sharp and function. I want to remember my family members and remember all the good memories I had with all the special important people in my life. So Alzheimer's disease is actually a disease of autophagy impairment. That means the brain cells are not able to clean out the debris, repair the broken down disease cells, and replenish and get new cells. So when we talk about intermittent fasting, we're talking about improving our overall brain health, and autophagy is a big part of that. So what are some of the benefits of fasting? We've kind of gone through this in our series, but just to sum it up, to let you guys, just as a reminder, we're improving our memory when we intermittent fast. We have better concentration. We're reducing inflammation. And we said that inflammation is the spark that triggers the fire to spread. Chronic inflammation leads to chronic disease like heart disease, all autoimmune diseases, diabetes, things like that. We also are increasing insulin sensitivity when we fast because we're lowering the insulin level when there's new food coming in. So then when we need the insulin, our cells are more sensitive to it. And that's important because prediabetes is due to decreased insulin sensitivity. And we had a whole series, a whole presentation on that. So go back, you can see intermittent fasting and type 2 diabetes. It reduces blood pressure, it lowers your heart rate, less fatty liver. I actually had a fatty liver, and my fatty liver has been reversed with all the health tools that I'm using. I don't have it right now. My liver enzymes are normal. And for a while it was there. And when I went on my health journey, I didn't even think about that, but it has significantly improved, which is great. And I still follow with my specialist, but just to know that I'm going in the right direction and my blood work is now back to normal is huge. And then decreasing atherosclerosis. Sorry, I spelled that word wrong. I should know better. I've done cardiac for a long time. And atherosclerosis is the plaques and the inside arterial blood lining. We want healthy arterial arteries, that inside lining of the blood vessels, because when they're not healthy, that's where plaque and settles in, and that's where you can have plaque rupture, and that leads to heart attacks and strokes and other things. So the health of our arteries is very important. And we talked about how all the arteries in our body, which is the part of the blood vessels that carries the oxygen to all parts of our body, that's your arteries. And we want them to be healthy, and all of them are lined with the same material. So if we have peripheral artery disease, or we've had strokes, or we have coronary artery disease or heart disease, that's all from the same type of blood vessels. So we're at risk for other areas of our body having similar problems. And then we also increase fat burning from fasting. So in summary, intermittent fasting helps us age well. It promotes brain health. It reduces the risk of chronic diseases such as Alzheimer's, certain cancers, type 2 diabetes. Intermittent fasting has many benefits over eating small, frequent meals. And we've gone through that several different episodes or kind of recordings that we've done or presentations. And then fasting, just to remind you, because I give you this information to empower you to go talk to your personal health care provider and provide education for you to open up kind of awareness of other things that are out there as options and tools. But fasting is contraindicated. It is definitely not recommended in children under 18 years old, pregnant or breastfeeding women, or anyone who is malnourished or underweight. And Dr. Fung says a BMI of 20% or less, it's not recommended in his book, is what he describes. But it's absolutely could do more harm than good. There are different nutritional demands in this group, in these different groups of children and women who are pregnant and breastfeeding, and people who are malnourished or underweight. So that's not recommended for you. And then we talked about consulting your primary healthcare provider or your physician or your healthcare provider, whoever that is. If you have type 1 or type 2 diabetes, if you're taking routine medications, if you have gout, if you have GERD or reflux disease or any kind of chronic disease or taking a chronic medication, it's better to talk with your healthcare provider who knows you best. I'm not trying to replace anything, any guidance they've given you. They know you best. Take this information, go in and start a conversation with them and let them help you walk through this journey and see if it's something that might help you. And then they can do it and work with you and your medications and what you have going on so that it's safe and it does no harm, because we say we don't want to do any harm. What's next? I'm so excited, guys, because you guys know I have a strong background in cardiac, even if I can't spell atherosclerosis right, which I should have spelled that right. I know better. So our new series is going to be Healthy Heart, Healthy Brain. It's coming from another evidence-based research book I've read, and my head is exploding over this one. It's such important information that we all need. And when stuff comes out that makes me excited, and I've done heart and cardiac and heart health for so many years of my career, you guys should get excited, because there's not a lot that gets me excited. It's usually the same old thing, but this is exciting stuff that I'm going to empower you with. Remember, if you haven't watched the videos that precede this, just go back and watch them at your convenience when you can, because it will fill in some of the blanks on how your body works and understanding how your body burns energy. We debunked calories in, calories out, and that was the first video in this series. if you just, and my mission statement, I want to make sure that you guys know I'm on a mission to positively impact your health and wellness through education and coaching to create generational health and a health span that equals your lifespan. I want your families to be healthy, your children to be healthy, because we know more is caught than taught. I'm hanging out with my nephews who are in elementary school, and I hear them talking, and they are seeing what I'm doing, and they are talking about it. More is caught than taught, I promise you. Um, and then as I always tell you, you can private message me or comment below if you want to schedule a free health consult with me. If you want to ask me questions to help you in a conversation that you're going to have with your healthcare provider, please feel comfortable reaching out to me and asking. I would love to work with you and talk with you. It's absolutely, truly my passion. I'm sure you've got that by now. I get really excited when I get to be in this space with each of you and support you on a health journey and give you some tools and verbiage to start, whether it's with your healthcare provider or just to open your mind to maybe doing some of your own research on this. And the book I'm using is right here. It's The Complete Guide to Fasting by Dr. Jason Fung with Jimmy Moore. Fantastic resource. Like I've said, it's for lay persons. It's written for lay persons. So you do not need to be medical to read this book. It's powerful. There's so much more information packed in here than what I covered. I covered a few nuggets of highlights in the book, but there's so much more that you can get out of this. So I bought mine on Amazon. I think it's a powerful addition to your resources if you're on a health journey or looking to get on a health journey. So I wanted to make sure I highlighted that because that's where this information came from. All right, guys. Well, thank you again so much for showing up and listening to what I have to say and supporting me in these presentations, because it is my passion, it is my heart. And I'm so grateful for each of you for giving me a little bit of your valuable time. I know how precious it is, and I hope this brought you value. Until next time, please stay safe. You guys take care.